Hello. Just getting that correct. Little change my YouTube thing always throws me off. Anyways, I hope you're having a good day. Welcome to today's talk. Hopefully you're having a good day. It's time for our devotional. We're looking at Proverbs chapter 8, verse 7 today. Proverbs chapter 8, verse 7. Now, in this part of Proverbs, we're it's being presented to us as if wisdom was a woman speaking and calling out to us in the street or in the hills or whatever, and she's calling out to us to come and come to her and receive wisdom, as it were. And so that's the situation. And so as we're working our way through it, that's just good to keep in mind that that's what we're talking about. It's wisdom speaking to us. So it starts off just saying, isn't this is a thing? Wisdom is calling out to us, and it describes this image of, on the roadside or at the crossroads or at the gates of the city. Wisdom is like this woman calling to you and calling to me, right, to come and hear from her. And and so as it does that, she says a bunch of things. And in verse 5, she's saying to the naive ones, understand prudence, and fools understand wisdom. So she's calling to the people who don't know to come and learn, right? And verse 6, she's like, listen, and I'll speak noble things, and opening of my mouth will reveal right things. And so she's talking about how we can understand what truly is of quality because of coming to her. And then verse 7, where we're at now, she says, for my mouth will utter truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips. Now, the thing I often say this in these videos, and so I hope you don't get tired of hearing it, but it's always good to remember. The book of Proverbs is written in an ancient Hebrew poetic manner, and so many of the sentences in Proverbs are going to be couplings, and that's really important because by couplings, what I mean is that the first part of the sentence and the second part of the sentence are very often either a restatement of the same thing with different words or a contrasting set of things. So saying one in the positive, then saying it in the negative, something like that. And the why that's important is because by doing that, the proverb is able to give you more about the subject by showing you that there's connections between things. And when you think of Hebrew as being a small, ancient Hebrew being a small language of only 8 or 9,000 words in total in the whole language, uh, they had to do things like this in order to be able to communicate truths more deeply. And whereas in English there's hundreds of thousands of words, and so it's just different. But that's the thing. So we look at this verse here today, and this is one of those times where it really does help us. And I'm going to just read it again. It says, "For my mouth will utter truth, and wickedness is an abomination to my lips." Now, the poetry here, of course, mouth and lips, right? So it's what she speaks, and my lips, what comes through my lips, right? My speech, what I teach, what I say. Wisdom is saying to us, what when you learn wisdom, it utters truth, and wickedness is disgusting to wisdom. So wickedness doesn't come through her lips, right? But that connection between truth and righteousness and wisdom is part of what's being communicated here. A wise person will not utter um, untruths, right? You will be an honest, truthful person if you're wise, because out through your lips is going to come truth and honesty. And then the second half, wickedness won't come out through your lips, right? You're not going to be someone who speaks wickedness. But the connection there is not just with wisdom, but with truth and wickedness. Like truth, what's the opposite of truth? Is it wickedness? Well, we wouldn't tend to say that. We would say the opposite of truth is untruth or dishonesty or lies, right? But the connection here is being made like it's basically the same thing. If you are a person who doesn't tell truth, then you're wicked. So that's the connection, right? Or if you want to put it if you want to reverse the tenses, right? So if you're a person who lies, then you are not righteous, right? So there's the connection, and that's being very much communicated here. These things have a certain equation to them. If you're truthful, then that's going to make you that's going to mean you're not wicked, and if you're truthful and not wicked, well, that's wise. If you're wise, you're not going to be truthful and wicked, right? So that's the message here, and it's an important one because Sometimes we think we can be good people by lying, right? Sometimes we think that we can be a righteous person, a good person by lying, by being a liar. Oh, because I mean it for good purposes. Well, wisdom is saying that's not wisdom. That's not what wisdom is. Wisdom isn't going to be found through lies, found through untruth. Untruth is usually how evil starts in anything. Evil usually begins with fouling up or disguising truth, hiding truth, or actually coming out with blatant lies. And this is true in so many levels. Like it's true at the personal level, where on the road of my life, if I choose to just simply refuse to let truth into me, or truth to come from me, then that's going to create in me a tendency or pathway toward evil and being evil, being unrighteous. And that's me personally, but then also, and that's you personally, that's any individual, but then also within a group, right? If a family is learned to lie to one another, then that family is going to become increasingly dysfunctional and unrighteous. Or if a workplace is based on dishonesty in their practices, then that workplace is going to become increasingly unrighteous. It's not going to be wise. Wisdom isn't going to have a place in that. And then all the way up, right up to the society. If a nation chooses to not allow truth to be a virtue, then untruth is going to be, and wickedness follows that. It's how it works. Learning to accept truth is essential for wisdom, and it's essential for righteousness to be good. It's an essential thing. Truth is not optional. Is not a disposable thing in a righteous or a wise society or organization or person, right? And so it's really important. Forbidding truth, if we decide, and this is what a lot of people do, they forbid truth. They don't want to hear it. They don't want it. Then that's a tactic of unrighteousness and foolishness, and it is very, very deadly. It's very, very awful. And you might think, well, how do you forbid truth? Well, on a societal level, it's so easy. Society will make it illegal to say things, illegal to have an expression that is not wanted. And so whether it's true or not is irrelevant. It just makes somebody feel bad or something. So it's illegal. You're not allowed to say that. Well, that's the way a society forbids truth. And it's a doom for that society. It is a doom for that society. It will come increasingly evil. It will become increasingly foolish. And there's many stories down through history to prove that. And I'll let you search that on your own. But on a personal level, you can deny truth in your life or forbid truth in your life by simply making it unacceptable for you to hear things, right? You can close your ears, as it were, and say, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to think about that. And if you shut down your mind so that when something is suggested to you that you need to look into, then if you shut that down because of the implications or what you don't want it to mean this or to think about that or makes you feel bad about yourself or something like that, then you shut down, you forbid truth into your life. You will never be allowed to, you will never let anybody challenge your position. You will simply increasingly think, I am righteous. I don't need anybody to prove it to me or show it to me. I just am from within. And as you deny truth, well, then the righteousness can't be there. And wickedness will grow and foolishness will grow. It's really important for us to learn to accept truth and to allow ourselves to hear things so that we can determine what truth is, right? And so we need to learn the hard, very, very hard, but learn the ability to say, I will let people say things to me, even if wickedness coming from me. And if we say, well, I don't want to hear it because it makes me feel bad, then you're saying to wisdom, I don't want your input in my life. That's how we shut down truth. That's how we shut down righteousness in life. And we don't want to be like that. If we want to grow in wisdom, then we need to be able to accept and say, okay, speak to me. I want to hear it. Painful as it may be, I want to hear it and I want to learn. So, okay, go ahead, speak to me. Now, it doesn't mean you have to accept everything anybody ever says to you. You don't have to accept it as truth, but you should be open to hearing it so that you can determine its truth. And if it's true, then accept it, even if it hurts. And that's wisdom. And that's what leads to righteousness. Righteousness is ultimately found in the place of truth, not in the place of fantasy, not in the place of desire. It's found in the place of truth. So we want to be open to truth so that we can be righteous and thus, through those things, prove to be wise. That's the lesson from verse 7 for today. Hope that's useful. Tomorrow we will hopefully be going to verse 8. And in the meantime, God bless you. Let God's truth find its place into your heart. Have a great day.